Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mike with smartoptiontrading.com. It is Sunday, the 18th of August. This is your week ahead video. I hope you guys have had a wonderful weekend. We go into the last couple of weeks of August here, and markets had a very bullish move here off the lows. That whole carry trade has been unwound. That's no longer concern. And now the market's going to focus on what really concerns it. Questions of whether recession. Goldman Sachs out this weekend, lessening their chance of recession after the jobs data and the data we had this week. Um, earnings and the Fed and rate cuts. And we're going to get a lot on that. So let's just jump into it here, guys. So first of all the Reddit's Fed speak. We got Waller speaking on Monday morning. On Tuesday, we got Bostic and Barr. And then Jerome Powell at 10 o'clock on Friday will give his keynote address at the Jackson Hole Symposium, which starts next Friday and goes through next weekend, where there will be a ton of Fed speak next weekend. Now, do not anticipate any type of policy changes, right? Jackson Hole Symposium is a chance for economists and bankers and financial people to go sit there and talk to these guys and get their feeling and ideas of what's going on and sit on roundtables and express concerns and ideas. Okay, it's very unusual for them to meet and do anything here unless there's an emergency situation. In this case, there is not, but there will be a lot of Fed talk. All right, on top of that, we have the Treasury buyback announcement on Tuesday morning, Fed minutes on Wednesday afternoon. We have PMI flash composite on Thursday morning, along with the Fed balance sheet after the close. So we do have some data coming at us. We'll switch towards earnings for this week, and there are names to be watching here. So we got Palo Alto on Monday night. That's going to be a biggie. I want to see what they have to say after the whole crowd implosion. We're still waiting for crowd to report. Tuesday before the open, you have Lowe's. I don't really follow that one, too thin for me, but you also have Futu, and that's always an interesting one to see how they're doing. They've been one of the stronger China names there. Toll Brothers will look at the housing market on Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday morning, Target, Macy's, and TJX, retail galore. And then Wednesday night, Snowflake and Zoom, we start getting all these big software companies and cloud companies in. Baidu and BJ's on Thursday morning along with Canadian Solar. I have to put Peloton on there because of the chatter that's going on with this name to keep an eye on it. Thursday night, I've never traded, but Kava will watch that. As CMG comes down, Kava taking some strength and Workday. So, we have an interesting week ahead when it comes to earnings. From a sentiment perspective, market remains neutral to bullish and is strengthening. So when we look at what's going on, a number of stocks making highs versus lows on the NASDAQ, 126 versus 91. We are positive. We're not. We see, the number of names making highs strengthening, the number of names making lows weakening. This is what we want to see. Duke agrees. On the S&P 500 plus 62 versus negative 10, we've already been positive for most of last week. This is good to see. The put to call back in the neutral zone, we spend a lot of time there. Breadth leading up here, nice move off the lows here on the NASDAQ. And then your New York Stock Exchange here, all-time highs leading up. When you have breadth at this strong, markets don't really just roll over, guys. So just keep that in mind. Advanced decline lines, look at these nice moves. Even the small caps participating down here. The Dow has been one of the leaders in the SPY. And then the oscillators, plus 119 on the New York Stock Exchange, very slightly overbought. We don't even start worrying about it until we get over 200. And on the NASDAQ, plus 105 in the same area. So overall, sentiment turning bullish for us here. Let's go and start off with crude real quick. Crude. All right, sorry about that. Got them quieted down. All right, on crude. Crude remains weak. This is good. If crude is weak, it's less inflationary, so it's weakening back down. It also shows there's no concerns on Middle East conflict right now. Bonds are strengthening. You got a little wedge pattern here. Breaks above it, can push back to the recent highs. Bonds go up, rates come down. That's good. Gold hit an all-time high on Friday. Bitcoin continues to languish here. Just nothing going on right now. The VIX saying this is over, right? This was oh my God, everybody got caught the wrong way. Big move up on volatility and came right back in, basically saying all over, this is a whole one-day event. HYG leading up, and what's good about this is HYG is a 52-week high. When these corporate bonds lead, the market tends to fall, and right now it's leading up. That's very good for us. The transport's trying to regain some momentum here, pushing back up, and the dollar remains weak. not far off the 52-week lows. Again, these are good. The internals for the market are very, very good right now as we go into this week. The S&P 500, okay, sitting here. Now we got to realize we've had this big move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up days in a row. This looks red, but actually we closed ever so slightly above previous day's close. So we've had 7 up days in a row here in this market. It's due for a little bit of a breather. So keep that in mind as you go into trading on Monday. We can use an inside day or two. We've come into this big spot here. Above here, we push back up. We test this gap at 560.51, and then 565 is your all-time high. Not that far away. To the downside now, if they came in, you played games, you come down, you'd like to hold the bottom of this candle. Below there is 548.88, and let the 8-day and the 21-day catch up. Look at the cross that's taking place here. Here's your 50-day curling back up, your 100 and 200 days still going up. Everything still looks very good here on overall on the markets. The Qs, not quite as strong, but also similar back on the 50-day finally. They have a gap here on Monday. Keep an eye on this, 475.59. We just pushed into it, and that gap goes up to 480.14. We'll keep an eye on that one. The IWM also in its gap, pushed up yesterday, couldn't finish it. We'll move our notification up. I'm already long this. May add some more here. We'll watch it to fill the bottom of this candle at 215.06, and then try to get back up and regain some of the momentum that it had up here. Overall, coming back. The diamonds remain the strongest. Nice push up here. You have a little bit of a downtrend sitting on it here that it came up into. And, we'll see what it wants to do. But you can see overall, coming up on that downtrend, it's been leading and never pulled back that far. The financials are leading. Here's your all-time high on the XLF at 44.11, not far from it. And when you look out there, JP Morgan is doing the heavy lifting. Nice move, well above the 8-day. Took out Thursday's high on Friday. Your all-time high at 217.56 is now only about $3 away. Goldman Sachs, the other one, very strong. Dipped a little bit and came roaring back here. Not quite as strong on Friday, but one of the leaders in here, all-time high is 517.26. Morgan Stanley also filling that gap, just about done, showing some relative strength. So you have strength in a lot of these names. PayPal, for what it's worth, is trying to wake back up. If it pushes up here, 70.66 will be your next level, and then it's back into that gap and plenty of room to run if it wants to. And if you're asking me, Mike, what gap? There's this big gap that's been sitting back here for a long time that it can go finish filling. It has a bunch of gaps. Again, waking back up, I don't think is going to go too far. Energy overall remains weak. Not really liking that sector. I still like ExxonMobil the best above that 120 area if it can break out. That would be one of the few names I'm keeping an eye on here right now in that sector. Same thing with the XBI. Biotech remains out of play. That said, Bristol Myers, nice curl here. Looks like it wants to retest the earnings high of 15.119 and then break out to the upside. Again, one I would keep my eyes on as we go into this week. Take that aside, we'll go over to retail real quick. Costco, nice move off the lows. 896.67, that would be your next level to watch on that one. It's the all-time high. If it dips to the 8-day and pushes, I'd like that. Walmart was a blowout report. 74.44 is the new all-time high. Dipped on Friday, but came back. So now we'll keep an eye on it. Can it hold this gap? If it holds that gap, I think it goes and makes a new all-time high sometime in the not-too-distant future. Strong chart. The one I still scratching my head on is Home Depot. That was a horrible report and guidance, but it brought it back, and it just shows you how strong this market is. Forgot to mention Lilly. Lilly had this big move off the lows, coming right back up. This name remains incredibly strong. They have multiple drugs now that are just killing the competition. So back above 940, you would look for a move up to the 960, 955 area, and then we'd look for a move back to that all-time high. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Strong move on that one. Food names, let's talk about them. Starbucks. You have this huge move on Starbucks. They stole away Chipotle's CEO. Paid a lot of money. They stole him out from underneath them. And you had Starboard in there as an active investor that probably had a big hand in that happening. So for now, 96.22 resistance that has to break above it. Nice 3 inside days. Might need another 1 or 2. Look at the 8-day, still down here at 87. Right? Big money consolidating. Probably wants to push higher eventually. Next levels would be to watch would be up here into these candles right here. This one is at 97, 98 area, and then this one up here at 98.36 if it wants to go. So we'll keep an eye on Starbucks. It looks good. You don't want to trade that one. McDonald's is waking up, took out the recent highs here. Just realize it's kind of coming into this chop zone up into around this 285 area. What else? CMG I want to talk about. So CMG has been weak now for a while, ever since just before it put a new all-time high in ahead of its split, came down. The split has been selling off. Earnings were they were good, they weren't bad. I mean, they were fine, and it's just kind of stuck. So now you got to wait for a new CEO to be announced here, or if you like it, buy some. We now know 48 is support, so you can try buying it at 48 or try buying it back down there again. Overall, though, a stronger name, you know, in the past, and this one should come back. Just need to figure out who their new CEO is going to be. What else should we talk about here, guys? How about the semis? Okay, on the semis themselves, nice V bounce on this one, looking awfully good. Next move is to the 50-day, and there's that gap there at 251.88, and we'll keep an eye on this week for a 254.34 move. Leader has been NVIDIA, not even a question. Big V bounce here on this one. It's into this 125 area resistance, and then it would work its way up to 130 to the next level, and then it could start to move. Overall, beautiful move on this one back above the 50-day. AMD, can't say I love this the way it's trading. You guys know I own it, and I've added more to it. I'm actually green on my trade now again. For me, if it wants to keep pushing with this market, the 50-day right now is at 155 area. It likes the 50-day, then the 200-day is just above that at 156. Those are levels to clear it at. I originally bought it up in the 154 area, and then I bought more on this day down here. I don't remember the exact number, but somewhere down in the 120s or 130 area. And, we'll see. I'd like it to move up there, at least retest that. Micron also nicely off the bottom. 110's big resistance, and I would look for a move up towards that 115. SMCI, you guys love this name. The stock split's not coming till October. The reason just not a huge fan, it is at this gap here on it. It's also at the 21-day, big resistance. The earnings were not that good. I'm not sure about that one. So we'll keep an eye on it. Let's switch over to big cap tech. We'll start off with Google, which is just not participating. If it takes out this little high, it gets into that gap and the move up to the 21-day possible, but overall, it is not participating in this market. Amazon, you guys know, I bought it. I bought it ahead of, I forget where I bought it. Anyway, I bought it. I sold half of it before earnings for a nice profit, and then bought it back down here down here in this 150 area. And so now I'm back into a nice size on this one. It's filling this gap up here. So the next move would be to the bottom of this candle. That is 181.87 if it wants to go. You'd like it to hold the 21-day now if it dips, or the 8-day, but you got to love this little push up on that one. Apple has been the leader. Nice move up here. This is at a big area. This 220 break up in this area here. Watch as we push higher. And then you have that gap at 231.45 and then all-time highs. You got to like that. Microsoft also, while it's off the lows, no strength. Next move would be to the 100-day. Netflix has been very strong this last week. Nice push here to 680. This thing likes to move in 10s. 680, we look at 690 as your next level, and then 697.49 and your recent highs. So overall, a lot of these names are strong. Carvana is showing some strength in this market. New highs here. The 160 area, your next target on that one. Tesla, nice couple day move here. And you got to remember, we played it heavily on this day. This day gave the head fake and then back up. I traded this 3 of the last 4 days, I think. Done well with it. Look at the increasing volume. That's a good sign. There's some power behind this. 220 is resistance. Then 220, it would look up into the 225 and then 230 area, actually 234 area for your next move. And then you have that gap there. So bottom line, guys, is the market, it looks good. A lot of people out there are saying that, you need to be careful here, blah, blah, blah. Market has no real reason to sell here, right? We had a reason before. We don't have one now. So nice and easy here. I remain bullish. We could use a break, though. A couple of days off would be good. I would focus on names for this week. The names we talked about would be my focus names, and I'll catch you guys live in the room at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.